Hello, and today we're going to be reviewing the RYOBI pcl733b 18-volt 1-gallon wet dry vac. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first up we have the battery slot. Now the battery slot is located on top of the tool and will accept RYOBI 18-volt batteries. Overall, I really don't have any complaints here. The battery slot is well placed and will keep the tool well balanced. And the slot itself will keep the battery in place without you having to worry about falling free because, well, the battery slot is on top of the tool and the battery locks in nice and securely. So really no complaints, and everything here gets a pass. Now when it comes to runtime, you're going to be getting around 20 to 22 minutes using a 4 amp hour battery that is in, well, fairly new condition. So I think that's an acceptable runtime. But of course, if you need a longer runtime, you can always look at buying an additional battery or a larger battery. So yeah, everything here is perfectly satisfactory and I have no complaints. Moving on. Okay, next up we have the carrying handle. Now the carrying handle is located at the top of the tool and is made out of a very sturdy green plastic which has very little or no flex in it. Overall, the carrying handle is nice and large so you can easily wear gloves if needed, and it will lock into the carrying position or into the storage position without the need of having to press a button or anything. You just simply have to apply a little bit more pressure in order to get it to close or open depending on what your personal needs are at that moment in time. Overall, I really have zero complaints about this particular handle. As far as I'm concerned, everything here gets a pass. Okay, next up we have the on and off switch. Now the on and off switch is located on the top of the tool near the front on the right side and is nice and large so you can easily access it even when wearing thick gloves or if you're in the dark and you are looking for the switch. Quite frankly, there really is nothing to complain about here, other than the fact it only has the on mode. There's no two modes on this particular vacuum cleaner, so if you're looking for a vacuum cleaner that has a high or low mode, you're out of luck here. It takes the motor about a second and a half to get up to full power after turning on the vacuum cleaner, and I think that's a fairly acceptable performance. So when it comes to this particular vacuum cleaner, everything here seems to get a pass, and I don't really have any complaints. Moving on. Okay, next up we have the crevice tool, and I do have complaints here, unfortunately. As you can tell in the video, there are, well, two crevice tools. The short one comes with this vacuum cleaner. The longer one came with the older 3-gallon version of that vacuum cleaner. Overall, I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't decide to, well, give you a longer crevice tool, and I'm super disappointed by the fact that they did not include a floor attachment with this particular vacuum cleaner. That's sort of, well, the two accessories that you have to include with a vacuum cleaner. Any other accessories, I think it's acceptable to purchase separately, but a floor attachment and a crevice tool are necessities that should always come with a shop vac. And the fact that they made the crevice tool shorter and the fact that there is no floor attachment, not to mention nowhere on the tool itself to store the floor attachment even if you were to buy it afterward, is definitely a major disappointment. It doesn't make the tool unusable, but it definitely makes it far less of a appealing option for a vast majority of people who are looking to pick up a portable battery operated shop vac. So my advice to RYOBI would be, maybe you should let go of whoever that brilliant person was that decided not to include a floor attachment and a place to store it on this particular vacuum cleaner. I can understand somebody arguing about the size of the vacuum cleaner and trying to keep it compact, but honestly there are ways of doing that without making this vacuum cleaner, well, any bigger. So I don't think that's a good argument. So at the end of the day, this is definitely something that you need to be aware of if you are planning on purchasing this particular vacuum. Moving on. Okay, next up we have the hose, and I'm glad to say that it's a, well, old friend. This is the exact same hose that comes with the 3-gallon vacs from RYOBI as well as the 2-gallon vac from Hart, and it definitely is a welcome sight here because it's a nice quality hose. It's expandable up to about 4 feet in length, and of that 4 feet, 3 of it is very usable. Once you get up to about that 4-foot mark, you'll definitely want to hold the vacuum cleaner in place, otherwise it will drag the vacuum cleaner along with whatever you're reaching towards. So overall, I'm fairly happy with the hose and no complaints there. And of course, the hose will plug into the inlet port, and the inlet port can rotate 360. So really no complaints there either. So everything here is acceptable and gets a pass from me. Okay, and next up we have the blower port, which is just the exhaust port that you can plug one end of the hose into and then use the other end of the hose to, well, blow the sawed-off shavings out of the slot in your miter saw or off your workbench surface, whatever you need to use that, well, the blower port for. And I'm very happy with this overall design because it's definitely a lot easier to work with than, say, using the floor attachment as some sort of an adapter like you had to use on the previous 3-gallon shop vac from RYOBI. So yeah, definitely an improvement, and I'm glad to see that they decided to go with an actual port on this particular vacuum. Moving on. Okay, next up we have the latch and internals of the vacuum cleaner. Overall, the latch is definitely an improvement over the previous generation tool, which used a plastic latch. They've upgraded it to metal, and I think it's going to be much more reliable with less of a chance of breaking, so definitely a welcome improvement here. Now, when it comes to the internals of this particular vacuum cleaner, it's going to use the exact same filter as the 3-gallon vacuum cleaner, so any filters that you might have purchased for the 3-gallon vacuum cleaner, you will be able to use on this particular vacuum cleaner as well. And, well, that's about the sum of it. There's one other thing to mention here though, and that would be the fact that you have to line up the top of the tool and the tank of the tool the correct way. You can't just turn the top of the vacuum cleaner to the rear or have it on the front or to the side. There's a little plastic post by one of the latches that has to go through a hole in the bottom of the vacuum lid, and then it will, well, allow you to latch it. If you don't line it up right, then it won't latch, and, well, then you'll be, well, kind of wasting time. So yeah, just something to be aware of. Not a big deal, but it isn't like the older vacuum cleaners where you could basically have the lid forward or backwards. This one is definitely designed to be used in one particular orientation. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the last bit on this particular vacuum. Okay, and last but not least, this is compatible with RYOBI's wall link storage system. I'm not somebody who is all that interested in it since it's proprietary, so I don't really care about it. But if you do care about it, this is compatible. Moving on. Without a battery, the vacuum cleaner weighs 2,930 grams, which comes out to be about 6.5 pounds. And with a 4 amp hour battery, it comes out to be about 3,647 grams, which is about 8 pounds. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this vacuum cleaner's performance. Overall, when it comes to cleaning up small messes, it does a good job. Whether it's small sawdust, wood chippings, or just the random amount of dirt or mud that might get clumped up on your shed or car floor, it's definitely going to do just fine at sucking those up. And when it comes to small metal objects like small screws, it does a good job. Slightly larger screws, it's a little bit more challenging, and it might get caught in the hose, but at least it gives it a try. And when it comes to, well, smaller drywall screws, it will still suck those up fairly adequately without any complaints. And wire clips, no problem whatsoever. So it does a better job than the previous generation's 3-gallon shop vac, but it's still not exactly going to be winning any awards for suction power. But that's to be expected since you're running it off of an 18-volt battery. Now, where I do have a complaint with this particular vacuum cleaner would be those accessories like I mentioned earlier. No floor tool means that this is going to be a far more time-consuming vacuum cleaner to use, and the fact that the crevice tool really isn't all that great for fitting into crevices is also another disappointment. So if you are planning on purchasing this vacuum cleaner, I would recommend picking up some aftermarket accessories to make it far more useful. RYOBI really needs to reconsider some of their strategies when it comes to their tools, because there's a lot of tools that would be far better and far more easier to recommend if they would just give it a little bit more time and thought into how the tool is going to be used. A portable vacuum cleaner like this that runs off a battery is meant to be fast, easy, lightweight, and versatile to clean up small messes. If it's an exceptionally large mess, you're probably going to be getting a full-size shop vac out with the cord. But if it's just some crumbs on your car floor, this is something that you'll just run inside and grab real quick and then run out and sweep up without the need of having to unroll and roll up a cord or drag the heavy shop vac out of the garage from the storage space that is piled up with other junk in front of it. So quite frankly, this is meant to be a fast, easy, and versatile tool, and the fact that the included tools or accessories for the hose are kind of garbage or not there at all is definitely a bummer. So yeah, this particular vacuum cleaner has plenty of power, has a great form factor, but is completely let down by the fact that the included accessories are, well, kind of garbage other than the hose. The hose is good, but other than that, no complaints. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the pros and cons. Oh, P.S. it does hold around a gallon's worth of liquid, so it definitely will be useful for cleaning up small liquid spills. And the first pro is 18 volt. 18 volt means that this will work with all your RYOBI 18 volt batteries, and if you so choose to, you can adapt batteries over from different brands via third-party adapter. Just remember, you do that at your own risk. Compact. Overall, this is a fairly compact shop vac, and this is going to be handy for storage as well as transportation. So this is a pro in my opinion. Good hose. Overall, I really do like the hose that comes with this particular shop vac. It's a good quality, it's expandable, and it doesn't wear out easily. So this is a pro in my opinion. Good suction. Overall, this little vacuum cleaner has quite a bit of suction, and considering that it isn't something that you plug into a wall outlet, I'm pretty impressed by this battery operated vac suction power. Blower port. The blower port will come in handy in a variety of different situations. I personally like using it to clean out the slot in my miter saw, and for that purpose it does a great job. Metal latches. Overall, I'm really glad that they decided to go with metal latches on this particular tool. The plastic latches aren't horrible, but they definitely aren't nearly as effective as the metal latches, and this will also help prolong the life of the tool, so this is a pro in my opinion. Price when not on sale. Overall, when this vacuum cleaner is not on sale, it's definitely overpriced considering that you don't even get a floor attachment and the crevice tool is pretty worthless. But when it is on sale, I think it's usually an acceptable price. No floor tool. Overall, the fact that there is no floor tool included with this particular vacuum cleaner means it's far less versatile than other vacuum cleaners in the same price category. So this is definitely a con in my opinion. Crevice tool. Overall, I'm not a fan of the crevice tool. It's too wide, it's too short, it's just not a great crevice tool, and that is definitely a con in my opinion. And that is it for the pros and cons. Final thoughts on this particular vacuum. Overall, I really want to like this particular vacuum cleaner. I think it's very portable, I think it has great suction, and I think it does a pretty good job. But unfortunately, there are some things going against it. When it's not on sale, the price tag is just too high. There is no floor attachment, which is another big problem, and the crevice tool is just not all that effective. So unfortunately, with those things going against it, it makes it rather hard to recommend. Honestly, I really would have liked to have seen the Hart vacuum cleaner, well, re-outfitted with a RYOBI battery slot, and I would have been very, very happy because, quite frankly, they have about the same form factor when all is said and done, and, well, with the Hart vacuum cleaner, you get 2 gallons instead of 1 gallon. So when it comes down to it, this particular vacuum cleaner is going to be good for certain individuals, but I think for the vast majority of people, unless you can buy it on sale, I just don't think their asking price of $80 is, well, reasonable considering that you're not even getting a floor attachment. So if you can buy this on sale, this tool comes recommended, but if it's not on sale, I'd give it a pass. And that is it for this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and I hope for the best for you in this next new year.